What's the most that you saw someone lose?
Millions.
Yeah.
Well, over time, there are some people that I don't know how they do it, and they just gamble so massively that there's no way that it's profitable. And maybe they're billionaires. I don't know. It's not any of my business. I think that, like EJ answered that perfectly. The only thing I would say is that one of the things, our sweet spot is, our gambling that we do is relatable. There's a lot of people who come into town, like, that I see once a quarter or once a month, and hey, how you doing? People that I've gotten to know, and they come here and they bet $50 a spin ish, on a slot machine, and they might lose $10,000 or $20,000, but that's a quarterly or a monthly trip for them. We do that every day, but I think we gamble at a level that's relatable to the gamblers that the casino is bread and butter, and it's just, if you play $1,000 a spin while it's like watching a plane crash or something, or a train wreck, or something awesome, if we win, it's not relatable. So to do that every day would be, A, we'd lose too much, and B, it's just not relatable. But I think our gambling is relatable. We're really legitimately trying to win. And it's like watching a daily battle. Like, what would happen if you were in Vegas and you and your two friends gambled every single day for now, 700 and something days straight?
Yeah, something like that.
We've documented gambling every single day.
That's interesting. I remember I went with a buddy to a high limit room. I think it was at Cosmo. We went to this like back room where they had maybe, I don't know, it was like the size of the living room basically. And there was a guy there, and they had two roulette tables that were side by side. This one guy was playing both roulette tables at the same time. And he was playing $50,000 a spin on one, $50,000 a spin on the other. And he had it automated so that the dealer would put $10,000 chips on 5 numbers on this one and 5 numbers on this one, the same ones. And one would hit and you go to the other table. That would hit, he'd go back to this table. And they kept doing the same bets. This guy had probably spent about $1 million. Lost it. Didn't care at all. He's just sitting there having a cigarette, drinking a drink, just wouldn't even sometimes pay attention to the tables, would turn around and kind of chat, is like 50 grand lost there, 50 grand lost there. And then he got out another $1 million marker, for basically a credit line to do that again. And then I remember he changed the number. Like, he was always betting 14. Never hit. So he's like, actually move the 14 to like a 15. And then the 14 hit.
Of course.
Yeah.
And he was so upset at that, but was not as upset about losing like the $1 million that was going by. Like 100 grand was gone probably every 2 minutes.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Just didn't care.
So if you're a billionaire,
yeah.
I mean, it's just a question of how much money you have. Now, some people play over their head or whatever. They come out of their skis or whatever the saying is, but some people don't care. I mean, the guy probably isn't the world's greatest decision maker since he's smoking, which I don't think is good for you. But he obviously, he's smoking, doesn't care, whatever. It's a feeble attempt at humor. Although I'm not. I wish all casinos were non-smoking. But
me too.
Because I just hate the smell of smoke. And I mean, go outside and smoke, but it's like, I guess, so many people that make dumb decisions like smoking also make dumb decisions like gambling. So I don't know, maybe it's only 11% of the population, but it might represent a disproportionate number of the gamblers.
Well, it seems like that's why they also want you to drink when you're at the table, and they'll bring you the drinks.
Yeah.
Well, that's because it makes you a little looser with your money.
Right.
Which is illegal. Like in some states, they can't give you free drinks. It's not allowed. Which like people are like, yeah, it sucks here. You don't get free drinks. I mean, obviously, like, I've had some of my biggest losses when I've drank. I did a video that did pretty well, 10 commandments of gambling, and one of them was don't drink and gamble. Because, all of a sudden you're like drinking, you're like, I'm going to, what's a $20,000 marker? I'm going to get it back. 14 is due. You start to make bad decisions. Yeah, drinking does.
That makes sense to me, because it's like, if you're signing a contract or buying something, if you're completely inebriated to the point where like you can't make a sound decision, you could argue that the contract is invalid because you are of not sound mind. I remember there's that one case of the guy who lost, I think, tens of millions of dollars, and they said that he alleged that the casino, he was completely passed out, but they were still forcing drinks on him, and then bringing him these papers to sign to take out even more money so he could gamble it. He lost all of his money, but then sued the casino to try to get it back, saying he wasn't even conscious. And they were purposely feeding him more alcohol than he could take. So I don't know how that ended up, but it just reminded me.
Like, I was, you're a smart young man. Like, that's why I go to even my HOA, like decisions on, like landscaping. I mean, it's like, but you talk about like running the world. Okay. Imagine if you were the supreme ruler of the universe. This is what we used to say to our kids when they're little. If you're the supreme ruler of the universe, now, that sounds pretty bad. So would you outlaw gambling completely? Would you outlaw drinking? Would you outlaw smoking? Like, I'm just curious. Like, I'm glad I'm not the person running the world.
Yeah. My bet is that there probably should be a limit, that they shouldn't outlaw drinking entirely, but say, okay, you could have 3 drinks on the house.
0.08, certainly drive. Oh, you mean a limit on drinks at the casino?
Yeah, so they'll bring you free drinks.
Okay.
But everyone gets 2 or 3.
I see.
After that, you have to pay for it. And maybe if you pay for it, there's that little bit of a barrier now that now it's on you. Because I know, like, I have a hard time turning down free things. If something is free,
that's already on you, man. Like, if you have a hard time turning down free things, fix that.
I'm just saying, but they could give 3 of them for free, and then everything after that. So
he's addicted to free things. Outlaw free things.
But if someone brings me food, like dessert is the worst. I don't like dessert. I prefer not to eat dessert. But if someone brings me a dessert, it would be rude now to turn it down. Like we went out to dinner the other night, and the guy brought us a dessert, and I'm not going to say no, I don't want that. So I ate the dessert. So if I had to pay for it, I wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
So at least for me, give a little bit for free, but then stop it there. That's what I would do.
These decisions are very, very complex and out of my pay grade. I mean, like say, I guess we got on the tangent because I wish that there wasn't smoking in casinos because I don't like the way it smells, and it gives me like a headache. And I think it's terribly sad that some people have a problem with alcohol and get completely hammered drunk and then do stupid things that end up impacting their families and their lives. I think that's terrible. But I guess, it's a weird thing, and I don't know. Are we in charge of our own destinies, or do we need a government or some lawmaker to tell us what we can and can't do? I don't know.
Where do you draw the line? Because I notice in a lot of casinos that they pump oxygen into the air, right? And they make it confusing.
They say that. I mean, I don't know if
make it confusing.
I don't know if the oxygen
but
is true.
They intentionally make them confusing.
No clocks, no windows. You can't tell like what time it is. You lose track of. So it's designed to like keep you in there as long as possible.
Yeah.
But where do you draw the line between like them? I don't know, having an advantage over like the average person. Like, I don't know.
I'm just glad I'm not in charge. All I know is I enjoy it. I like going. I like getting free dinners. I like free desserts. I usually get like 5 spoons or 6 spoons, depending on how many people are there, and everyone takes a bite because, no one likes carbs because you see it on your news feed. Carbs are bad. You should just eat meat, like the Liver King.
Yep.
You said he was on your show?
He was.
That's awesome. Isn't he like one of those meat eaters? He's the dude
he just eats raw meat.
Yeah.
I mean, listen,
well,
I don't know.
Eats cooked meat.
I don't know what
sometimes.
he does behind the scenes, but he brought us basically an animal that was raw. Every part of it.
Liver,
Jack
kidney,
loved the testicles.
hearts.
That was
Did he? Yeah.
It had everything on it. Yeah, the testicles honestly weren't the worst out of all of them. I think it was like the kidney.
The kidney,
because it processes the urine, so it kind of tasted as you imagine urine would taste.
Really?
Yeah.
kidney was.
Did it taste like urine to you, Graham?
Yeah,
Because I know
I
you're
don't
more
like the
familiar
taste
with
of
that.
liver, but yeah.
Yeah, liver was also iffy.